Hey all, happy Monday, good morning, welcome to week 6. Yesterday I published all of the materials that you need to complete expansion number 1, check-in number 1, which is due this Tuesday night. So hopefully you guys have already been chipping away a little bit, maybe revising your article, maybe growing it, but the expansion materials provide you with some more structured support for that. So if you check out on my website the project page for expansion, it gives you access to a resource called the rhetorical situation. That just gets you kind of a textbook resource that teaches some important terms that we can rely on through this process. And then you can boil down more specifically to the 4 resources that you're going to review, 1 each week as you grow your article. The one that I recommend for check-in number 1 is background, because it's kind of the most basic one, and it's the one that you're probably doing naturally, doing already. I think I've even nudged you in this direction. So it's a tight turnaround for you guys to give me a check-in by Tuesday night or Wednesday if you need it. And I like to guide you toward the one that is accomplishable in that short amount of time. After that, you'll have access to pathos, ethos, and logos. It's okay if you don't know those terms. Like I said, you'll have time to review and revisit what they mean. And you can choose which one you want to do each week. I might make some recommendations, but feel free to just open all of it up, check it out. Just kind of get a bird's eye view, and you can come back to it in more detail as we move along. So what you'll do is you will go for expansion check-in 1. You will go to the place in Canvas where that gets submitted, and it's a Google form. It might need you to log into Google, like Gmail if you haven't already, just to record your email address and be able to fill it out. But essentially it asks, how many words have you written thus far? How many sources have you integrated in the works cited? How many have you referenced in the body of your article? Which resource for expansion did you review? What did you get from that? How did you change your article? What are you doing in general that you want me to know about? How is it going? And that is like in place of a meeting. You know, if ideally you and I could sit down and I could just ask all of this in a natural conversation and just say, how's it going? How are you progressing? Where are you succeeding? Where are you feeling stuck? What do you want to do next? Well, tell me what you've been focusing on. And that's how I want you guys to try to treat it when you're responding back to me. Respond conversationally. You're just going to get credit for filling it out. You're not going to get docked points for being behind or anything like that. So try to be casual about the way that you approach that assignment. And like I said, Tuesday-ish is when I'd like to see that. By Thursday, let's complete some more source evaluations. So you're going to be aiming for 4 total. That's 3 more than last week. Already this morning, I hopped in and I started making comments on those. And that's how this is going to work. You guys you do your first source evaluation. I come in and provide comments to guide you. And then I'm not actually grading that project until it's completely finished with all 10 sources. I think about 3 weeks from now, or maybe it's like 2.5. So I'll give you guys completion scores, which means 1 out of 20, 4 out of 20 for 4 sources. And you'll hit 10 out of 20 by the time the project's over. And then I'll go through, and for the last 10 points, I will do a quality check, and I'll look for the things that I've been leaving comments on, like depth, elaboration, and just the quality of the sources, quality of your critical thinking in response to them. One quick note about that project: make sure that you use the neon blue underlined words inside of the template. They're links. They take you to resources, the textbook for the course. I use quotes a lot today. Bear with me. And they'll break down what I'm looking for in that section. Places where that I'm noticing that really matters for you would be detail, author/authority, organization, and then the signal phrase itself. So detail, I want to know how detailed is the source? How long is it? How many other sources does it bring in? Does it have charts, graphs, interviews, access to other things? Or is it a pretty narrow or shallow source? It's fine, but I just want to know. I want to hear how you're evaluating it. Authority, go to the author's bio. Go to the organization's website and find an about page. Copy and paste in how they present their credibility. Put it in quotes. And you don't have to rewrite it. You just have to gather all of that information. How are they defending their credibility? In previous writing courses, you've probably been taught to do signal phrases. And those signal phrases might be something like, in an article called so-and-so, author so-and-so says. That tells the readers, hey, I'm bringing in outside information and here's where it's from. That's good for transparency. In English 102 and at Exchangers, we elevate that skill a little bit. It's not just about transparency, it's about boosting your credibility as the writer, making your work more persuasive. So why should I believe that person? Because they have over 15 years of experience as a researcher, they have a PhD, they won an award, I don't know, whatever it is. For each source, it's different, but that is one of the primary reasons why we're doing those evals, is to be able to craft stronger signal phrases to then pull into the articles. So you'll probably hear me repeat myself on that when I make your individual comments, but I want to ensure that we're getting to someplace new as writers and as thinkers and as researchers. So I want to really drive that point home here. One more thing about source evals before I move on. I made 2 changes to the course from previous exchangers weighing in and saying what would make things simpler. They used to have 3 separate documents: the article, the source evals, the expansion check-ins, and a lot of exchangers felt like it was so much to manage. They had to open up all these different tabs to kind of keep their work in order. And I talked to some exchangers last quarter who we were looking at the tabs feature and said it would be so nice to be able to have the article and the source evals together so that you guys and me could toggle back and forth and see the connectedness between the 2 documents. And there's really only one document where you're doing your work. So if you haven't set it up that way yet, I won't penalize it, but I highly encourage you to make those adjustments. I think I have the instructions for that in the working copy. You can reach out if you need any extra help. The other change I made is, instead of the expansion check-ins being another document you have to manage, it's just a form you can fill out in Canvas. And I hope that's helpful. And if it's not smooth, I'll keep reflecting on it and thinking about how to make things more easy for you guys. That's my goal. I want it to be easy enough that you can focus on the things that really matter, like the learning in your project. And lastly, by Sunday, complete 2 more reviews for 4 total. I know that some of you have already mentioned it's really valuable to have some feedback from your peers. Keep it up. That makes a huge difference. When I move through making comments on some source evals and maybe checking out your submissions for expansion, probably by the end of the week, I'll go in there and catch up on giving you like an updated score for the reviews that you did yesterday. But for now, if you're behind, just catch up soon. That way when I get to scoring that, you can get credit for those reviews. And if you guys have any questions, of course, reach out and let me know. I hope you have an awesome week ahead. Sorry my update is a little bit late. This is my 2nd time recording this video because I finished, it was flawless, and then it deleted. We're not alone in our technology troubles. I hope you guys stay resilient, stay hopeful, keep working, keep chipping away bit by bit, and I will talk to you soon.